There's always a lot of discussion around the importance of what we eat, particularly in the workplace. If we are in an office environment, if we're sedentary, if we eat lots of cakes, not good for us. So what better way to find out the importance of diet in the workplace than talk to two elite sports people? So I'm talking to Kai Horstmann and Carl Rimmer, former Exeter Chiefs, to find out how diet worked in their workplace. Kai, how did that work in elite sport?
Well, it's obviously a key element, isn't it, for you performing. I always had a relatively laid-back approach with it, that I tried to eat well and good produce, but wasn't overly cautious with it. I think the club itself were pretty relaxed with it, as long as you had regular caliper testing to check your skin fold levels, and as long as you weren't going crazy. In fact, they fed you breakfast and lunch. You know, if you were getting some considerable weight on, then you're doing something very, very wrong at dinner time. So, yeah, I mean, I was always pretty relaxed, but the fundamentals are, I think, that if you can eat well, then the knock-on effect is that your mind follows.
Most certainly. What do you think, Carl? What was it like during your career?
The irony has not lost on me that not many front row forwards are consulted on their diet over the years. I agree with everything Guy said. I think as you get older, I think it gets easier. I think you start to learn what's good and what's not good and what's easy and what's not easy. And from a playing point of view, I do think I was as strict as I could have been at the times it required. And like you say, there's very few places to hide, as Kai just pointed out, with all those tests they put you through at various times. If it's all going the other way and it's going a bit pear-shaped, quite literally, you're going to get found out. I think it's provided me and Kai probably with a pretty decent base as to what's good and what's not now that we're in the world. And the hardest thing I find is time now. Like you say, you get used to having 2 meals a day cooked for you by professional chefs that make you really high-end quality produce and healthy food, good for energy. Whereas now you sometimes find yourself with half an hour on the fly. And yeah, without a doubt, I've spent a few days where things have not gone well, and you can definitely feel it. You start to get lethargic, you start to get tired, you start to get grouchy and things like that. So I think it's a really important part of staying on top of your game, both sporting and non-sporting.
Yeah, really interesting. If we think back, years gone by, factories particularly would have had canteens for their workers, which provided them the right kind of meals, which goes back to what you've just said there about being fed for breakfast and lunch. And the world has changed so much that we've got to be fairly disciplined ourselves. And at the end of the day, we are what we eat, aren't we?